Yo, yo, what's up? What's up? It's me, it's your man Johnny Main. And today we have a special guest in the house with us, Frank Ammirante, out here doing it big on all sides of this rock we call planet Earth, here hanging out with the homie Nick Wilcox and me tonight. Frank from Roto Baller, Fantasy Pros, The Game Day, just to name a few, man. Thank you so much for jumping on, brother.
What's up? It's a pleasure to be on the show. It's been a long time coming. I'm happy to be here. Happy to talk some football. We're getting right into the heart of draft season. It's an exciting time.
Yes, sir. Sure yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, Nick's doing that Undertaker thing again. Oh man. All right, man. So we will we'll get right to it for sure. While Nick brings on the lights on his side of things, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself, man. For those that don't know you, aren't really familiar with your work, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I write for a number of sites, like you said, Roto Baller, Fantasy Pros, and mostly fantasy baseball, fantasy football, betting content, even some news content on Deadspin. Just a lot of freelance work online. I love to write. I love to work from home because I love to travel. You know, I like to try new foods, go to new places, and that really works well with this job. From a personality standpoint, I'm pretty easygoing, laid back guy. I'm friendly. Maybe people who just know me from online might think I could be like a hard ass or something a little bit, because like sometimes I chirp and debate takes and all that. But in real life, I'm more like just chill, laid back. I just love to chirp when we're talking fantasy and stuff. I find it more fun, the trash talk. But yeah, that's just really a bit about myself. Love making content, and it's been a blessing that I've been able to build this following, and I'm grateful for it for always.
Yeah, man. We were talking a little bit earlier. Like I said, I think we were in the draft night out league 2 years ago at the Expo. Me, you, Nick, Colin, just kind of reflected on that league, man. That league was that was a bloodbath of a league, man. I'm typically not a quarterback guy in the third round, and I looked up and I was like, I don't got no other cards to play right now, champ. I don't got no other cards to play right now, you know. Yeah, man. So no, definitely, like I said, man, big fan of your work. Obviously, Nick and I both, man, and we're happy to have you on for sure. And obviously, you got some stuff going on tonight. You want to talk about that a little bit before we get into some of the questions?
Yeah. So on the website, the NFFC, they have some great high stakes drafts with some great prizes. Tonight's the Beat Frank League, where it's a 12-team league, but it's a little bit different. The scoring is like 6-point passing touchdowns. Basically, other than best ball, this is like my first big draft, and I'm more of a managed guy anyway. I like best ball just to like scratch the itch as you get closer through the off season. But when it all comes down to it, I love like the whole act of starting and sitting your players. That's my favorite type of fantasy football. So really looking forward to that draft. I'm hyped up for that.
All right, man. All right. I know they didn't beat you last year, so I don't think they'll do it again this year, bro.
Last year was nice. James, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I see. Yeah, talk it up, man. We'll get right into that, man. You're talking about Genty here. We'll see what we got going on in the chat here before we get to it. But, yeah, somebody's in that draft tonight, ready to have some fun.
Yeah, I didn't mention, we're live streaming that draft on channel Fantasy Savvy, and I'll retweet the link later. But, yeah, I packed up the schedule tonight, just really get me into the football mode. Like your show, this show, draft. Let's go. We're ready.
I love it. Oh, all right, man. You want to go ahead and rip the first one, Nick?
Yeah. So, Raiders dilemma. Dealer's choice right now. Brock Bowers or Ashton Genty right now. Who are you taking and why?
So to start it off, I love both of them. I'm totally cool taking both, going first round at Genty and then second round Bowers. I may even do that in the draft later. I'm just really optimistic about the Raiders with Clint Kubiak calling plays. I know if Kirk Cousins starts, at least Cousins has experience with Kubiak. They work together with the Vikings. And then if Mendoza exceeds expectations earlier than expected, maybe he's just a stud. He's the first overall pick for a reason. So I think the Raiders are their arrow is pointing upward. If I have to pick between one of the two, Genty or Bowers, I have to go. It's like I'm going to take Bowers over Genty at ADP because Genty first round, and I'll take him. But in terms of at cost, I would say Bowers, just because that's my favorite pick. He's my favorite pick in all of fantasy football this year. I think it just really sets up nicely for him to have a monster year. Bowers, Kubiak is a good play caller. He's going to put Bowers in position to succeed. You look at that Raiders receiver room. I mean, Jalen nailed it. Like, there's not really much.
No.
Bowers is just going to dominate targets and really give you that crazy advantage at such a weak position in tight end. And I really love taking Bowers throughout the second round. He's been my most rostered player in the best ball drafts. And if you're in the draft tonight, I'm going to be looking at Bowers.
Right now, Bowers is my tight end 2, technically, and the 19th overall guy on my thing. So I think that's pretty solid. I think the only thing – all right, so I guess my additional question for you is, why so bullish on taking a tight end in the second round like Bowers versus like the roster construction that someone else can really make out for the rest of their rosters? Why so like gung-ho about that?
Yeah, so that's a good question. Well, I just think Bowers is going to explode. Like, I think he's going to have a massive season. But B, if I like some of the third round running backs like Breece Hall or Javonte Williams, and pretty cool with Kyron Williams too, because I think
totally Kyron will be there.
Matthew Stafford had an outlier touchdown rate of over 7%, and you got to think some of those touchdowns will turn into running touchdowns as it regresses to the mean a little bit. So that means Kyron could have more touchdowns than he did last year. But anyway, to the roster construction point, it's just that I like those running backs in round 3, and I like some of the receivers in like round 5 and 6. Like, I love Roma Dunze and Marvin Harrison Jr., and I like Brian Thomas Jr. I like those post-hype, either former highly touted prospect, or they had a good rookie year and then they struggled in year 2. I like buying back in. So really, that's where I make up ground. Is I think those year 3 receivers are good targets. So in my build, I'm cool with getting Bowers in round 2 just because I like those players later on.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah, dude. Obviously knowing like we're going to talk a little bit about Bowers and Genty, just doing a little bit of research, I guess, if you will. There were some things that really stood out to me because on the surface, right, like you think like a Brock Bowers season last year and you're kind of like, all right, not really what I was expecting. But then when you break it down from the tight end position, it actually wasn't really that bad at all. He was second amongst tight ends in end zone targets, 42% target share inside of the red zone. And then one of the 2 stats that were really interesting to me, and then, hey, we can move on, we can chop it up or whatever, but he was isolated 35 times on one side of the field, had 9 targets for 5 receptions and 2 touchdowns. And you talk about Clint Kubiak and that offense and him being a play caller. Obviously, you got to get the ball to Brock Bowers. You have to. And like you mentioned, the quarterback position for them, it could be Kirk Cousins. It could be Mendoza. But the other thing too is the 61% playing time was 19th among tight ends last year and the 66% route participation. So you got to think those numbers, to your point, Frank, will definitely move up. And if they move up, right, in the performance that Brock Bowers gave us last year, you got to think like he's gonna move off of that, and it's gonna be even better. I even tried out last night a little Brock Bowers in the second round for a best ball, and I actually didn't hate my team, man. So I think I'm coming around to that concept for sure, man. So all right, let's see what else we got in the chat here. Joe Carl, what up, man? What up? You talked a little bit about getting back to some players that kind of let us down. Brian Thomas Jr. definitely let me down last year, for sure. I haven't had the fortune of having Marvin Harrison Jr. yet on any roster. I was able to pick up Michael Wilson last year off of waivers to help. So tell us, man, like in this situation here, Marvin Harrison Jr. and Michael Wilson, I think you already kind of tipped your cap a little bit, but tell us who and tell us why.
So I like Marvin Harrison Jr. because I know he's heading into year 3, and Harrison was disappointing in his first 2 seasons, but we have to, take a step back and realize, just remember how highly touted Harrison was coming out of the draft. He was viewed as a really clean, one of the safest prospects in recent memory at the wide receiver position. And yes, Harrison has disappointed us, but the fact is he's still only 24 years old. We can't just give up on that idea that he could be a star still. He's not old. And there have been some, external factors that have affected him. 1, he got injured last year. 2, like I don't think the scheme was that great or the fit with Kyler Murray. Like Drew Petzing, I remember in the rookie year, Marvin Harrison was always on the outside running these deep routes. Like I don't think Harrison was put in the best spot to succeed in terms of his skill set. So now, the Cardinals have a new head coach. Mike LaFleur comes over from the Rams staff, comes over from the Sean McVay coaching tree. I think LaFleur is going to put Harrison in a position to succeed. And I think he's really, got that chip on his shoulder to show that he can play. And now I know Michael Wilson tore it up down the stretch last year, but it was a spot where like the Cardinals were out of it. Jacoby Brissett was just chucking it every down. They had no running game. They kind of didn't really. They played like backyard football. It's not like sustainable. They didn't win games. So, and then when Harrison came back, he was the one getting more targets for those 2 games, if you remember, before getting injured again. So I don't want to take too much away from Wilson. I just feel like he could be one of those players that just pops out of nowhere and then goes back to what they used to be, sort of like Juwan Jennings to some extent. So I'd rather just put my chips on Marvin Harrison, who was a top prospect coming out of the draft. He's still only 24 years old. Coaching change. I think this is his year he breaks out. And hey, remember before it used to be year 3, we'd be like, okay, now's their year to break out. I know we got spoiled with all these stud receivers popping off immediately, but hey, sometimes players take some time. I think that could be the case with Harrison.
Yeah, I've always been the one thing like for Marvin Harrison Jr. for me that I've always paid attention to is just like his utilization inside the red zone, which seems to be like a common theme for some of the pass catchers that we're talking about that you have ascending. Marvin Harrison Jr. has always been that. He's always been a guy that actually has done pretty good against man coverage inside the red zone. And then really, if you take away the games that Michael Wilson played, Marvin Harrison Jr., his numbers look a lot different in that space. And then you have the 4 games where he got hurt. If you take those games out of the equation, I think he goes from like wide receiver 40 overall in points per game to like wide receiver 21. So like that's obviously like that's wide receiver 2 territory, which if we go back to, his rookie season, that's I guess you could say that's where he was kind of being drafted at as a wide receiver 2, being an early 2nd round pick. And last year we thought we were getting a discount on him in round 3 or 4. So I'm hoping everybody is ready to quit on MHJ because I haven't had the chance to roster him yet, and I'm kind of excited for that opportunity to do that. So let's see here. When all 3 were on the field, Wilson got the shit in his stick. No, you're not wrong,
man. At times he did, but other times he was still, being able to be a target hog still. So I wouldn't put it past Michael Wilson to at least, be as somewhat productive. But I do think with MSJ, we're already getting a decent discount here. We're already talking about people like writing them off as a wide receiver 3-4 now. It's like we got a steep discount here. He's going in a range where, again, like we talk about the Roman Dunzeys, we talk about the Brian Thomas Jr.'s. Like if Marvin Harrison Jr. is going a little bit even after those guys, we're talking about what are we really risking at the end of the day? Like he was at least like top of the 3rd. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about maybe end seconds. We're talking about a now. We're talking about 5. Is he worth the risk? Of course he is. Because again, like it's Arizona, it's Brissett. If Brissett can give us anything like he was doing down the stretch last season, we're already talking about a guy that we're already stealing away from people in drafts, and we're already talking about a guy that could potentially be our solid wide receiver 2 week in and week out.
Yeah, 15 red zone targets was 2nd in the NFL, even considering the amount of time that he missed. So
that's a great pull. He could be a red zone beast. Like what he got even in his rookie year, I think he got 8 touchdowns. And he's got like that prototype. He's that big-bodied receiver that he could just dominate in the red zone. Would it shock you if he had 11 touchdowns this year? I don't think I'd be shocked.
No, man, nope. Not at all. All right. All right. So this one here, man, this is for all my peeps here that might be watching. Hopefully you are. If you're not, get your life together. Subscribe to the show. Follow us. Yeah. Get your life together and subscribe to the show. Don't be an egg-sucking dog. Impact of AJ Brown on the Patriots run game. Like I've been like hot and bothered by this topic like all off season. I've given my take on it numerous times. And and I want to hear your take on it because I do believe and I do feel very strongly that A.J. Brown is going to have an impact on the Patriots run game. Obviously, defenses have to respect him on the outside now, on top of Romeo Doubs as well. So now we have this situation, and I like to dub it Dre versus Trey. So Dre versus Trey. What do you got as far as the Patriots running back situation goes?
Yeah, so I agree with you. They should be more efficient running the ball just because it's just like you said, a better offense. Brown and Doubs upgrade at receiver. Picking between Ramondre Stevenson, Travion Henderson. So I see the sides for each because Stevenson goes later. Like if you wait on your RB2 and you really stacked up your receivers, got a high-end QB, and you want that like projectable volume of a player who's likely, worst case, he's going to still be involved, Stevenson. I get the appeal with him there, but then I also get the appeal with Travion Henderson because when he had his time to shine last year, when he had more carries and Stevenson was hurt, he had some really big spike weeks, Henderson did. He's explosive. So if I have to pick one between the two, I would rather swing for the fence on Henderson just because, it's a year 2 running back. He was a relatively touted prospect coming out of the draft, and we saw the spike week potential he can bring to the table. So I'm willing to roll the dice on Henderson a little more than if I have to prefer between the two, but I see the sides for either or.
Okay.
Question.
All right.
I would say, so I guess rinse and repeat from last year, right? Where it was Henderson was probably going like late 5th round, early summer, and then his price steamed up to the point it was like end of the 3rd. Where is a comfortable spot for you for Henderson to take? And overall, with that information, like where do you say the buck stops here? Where I'm like, okay, if this price tag gets more up here, I'm not doing it no matter the circumstance.
I think the 5th round for Henderson is good. Like to your point of where he was before that steam, like that's where I think it's good. Just because at least you feel a little more comfortable because there's still risk that Henderson just is, a change of pace and like variable like Stevenson, and then we have to deal with a lot of volatility. So if he gets to the 4th round, I'm not going to really be looking at Henderson because you could still get like, let me think here. Like sometimes, like you could get Colston Loveland in the 4th round if I missed out on Bowers, let's say. I'd rather do that and then try to get like Bashul Tudin later in the 5th if Henderson goes up to the 4th. You know what I mean? It just feels like too much risk a little bit to take Henderson anywhere higher than where he currently goes.
Yeah, there's definitely some good names out there in the 4th. Ladd McConkey, Jalen Waddle, a couple of guys like that right there in the 4th. And to your point, like I would much, much rather have one of those two guys than Travion Henderson. Although I am a fan. Big time of him. I remember watching him at Ohio State his freshman year, and I was like, yeah, this dude's a baller right here. Like it's definitely going to be something. So, all right, Nick, you got the next one, man?
I do. So, next question we got for you is Jaden Daniels, right? I think there's a good amount of people that are talking about Jaden Daniels. And my question is your thoughts on Jaden Daniels reaching like a ceiling like himself again. I know last year he dealt with several injuries that kept him out for a good chunk of the year. But where do you see him coming into the upcoming year? Right now, I have Jaden Daniels as my QB7. Obviously, there's room for growth there, but I do think with him, like, there's obviously a bit more risk baked in because just of his frame. It's like questions about his frame, not exactly more about performance, but it's more about just his frame. Can he handle it? In year 2 was not like the best, like, of how he showcased that. So my overall thought on it with Jaden Daniels is like, I'm not going to get too ahead of the market just yet. I do like him for his potential ceiling. But what are your thoughts on him overall? And are people crazy to kind of draft him ahead of potentially Joe Burrow just because of his overall potential upside?
Oh, hey, wait, before you say anything, Frank, Frank is like a diehard Commanders fan, so this is why there's a couple of Commander. There's a couple. We gotta let the rest of the world know. There's a couple more. This is why, yeah. I love it, man.
Yeah, good intro there. You have to say that for sure. I think like I think for one, just from a real life standpoint, people are sleeping on the Commanders a little bit because, like, I know last year everything went wrong, but they were still one win away from getting to the Super Bowl. They're 1 year removed from that. Did they really? Do we think they dropped off to that degree? It was just a combination of injuries and Cliff Kingsbury's scheme felt a little stale. So I think now bringing in David Blau to be the OC, he's shot up through the ranks. And anytime I see that in the NFL where there's like a young coach who just flies through the ranks, I always feel optimistic about how they're going to do. So I'm going to just go that route in terms of fantasy takes because, like, I think he'll be a good play caller and put Jaden Daniels in good spots to succeed. He talked about wanting to put him under center more, get to use his show his passing skills, but not like that It feels like Kingsbury's offense starts off hot and then it gets stale, and then that feels like what happened last year. I think
year 2 always, man. Year 2 with Cliff Kingsbury. Year 1 is always great, man. You're like playoffs and all this stuff. Yeah. And you're like, all right. And then year 2, you're like the bottom just falls out, man, for sure.
Yeah, and obviously Daniels' rushing upside is huge. There's injury risk for sure, but in managed leagues, at least one thing we could say is that even if like Daniels gets hurt and you feel a little bad that you use that like fifth rounder or fourth rounder on him, the waiver wire is often quite flush with talent and your traditional fantasy football leagues for quarterbacks. So like sometimes people they don't want to roster their backup if they have buys. So you can kind of address that and if Daniels gets injured. So I'm willing to swing for the fences just because his rushing upside, and he'll have to carry the Commanders' offense, because like the receiving core is definitely unproven outside of McLaurin. I did come in the offseason thinking they'd get Brandon Ayuk, but I've pivoted on that. That's not happening.
You mean Antonio Brown Jr.?
Yeah. I've lost hope for that. So maybe they sign Diggs when he goes along with McLaurin, and maybe Antonio Williams can be something. I've been taking him in best ball. But really, to sum it up with Daniels, year 3 QB with electric rushing ability, showed his passing skills, and I think with a new OC, he'll bounce back nicely.
Yeah. Would you be cool if they brought back Debo?
Oh, that's a good one. I didn't even consider it. Yeah, I'd be cool with that. I don't know why. That does make some sense. They should add one of them, like Devo or Diggs.
Yeah, for sure. Sure. Have you watched a sidebar? Have you watched Quarterback yet?
Oh, I gotta watch that. I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, yeah. I liked it. I thought it was definitely pretty cool for sure. I was a big Cam Ward fan anyway going into last year. For sure. I felt like he had the ability to kind of pop and be like, QB 15, QB 16 type of deal. Obviously, I was kind of big on the Titans offense last year. It didn't pan out. And then Joe Flacco, it's kind of cool just to see him. Like, he's just a normal dude, even though he's played for the wrong team, in my opinion, for, half of his career, or the wrong teams. And then JD5, like, it was pretty cool to kind of see his backstory, and Baker Mayfield, future Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback. It was definitely cool. So yeah, definitely give it a watch for sure. I was curious if you had any reviews on it, man.
Yeah, I gotta check that out for sure.
Yeah. All right. So same line with the Commanders, man. Who's the running back to have?
Okay, so this is a good question because Bill Ja'Cory Cross-Ricky Merritt, I think like he could be a decent runner. Like he had some moments last year where he looked pretty decent, but if I'm going into fantasy this year, the one I'm drafting him often, it's Rachaad White.
Right.
And it really comes down to this. He's the best pass protector that they have. I think that's going to be a priority. And Rachaad White plays that fantasy-friendly type of game. He's a good pass catcher out of the backfield. So even if he's a bit inefficient on the ground, he'll help you catch a few of those passes. Obviously, Rachaad White, college teammate with Jaden Daniels. You have to think like Daniels was in management. So you're like, hey, we got to get this guy. Bring White in. So, White, he's had productive years in fantasy under his belt. And I think Rachaad White could be like this year's Javonte Williams, that veteran running back who has lost his shine.
Yep.
He looks kind of dull, boring. Well, I don't want this guy. He's going to be in a committee. And then he ends up, just because he's trustworthy with the coaching staff, with the pass pro and his pass catching out of the backfield. To your point about Daniel's injury risk, you want to help him stay upright. You want that pass protecting
run. Hand it off, baby.
I really like
taking
White. I think I think he's a great value in drafts. I think White is the
Huge
one you
value.
want in this backfield.
Dig that. Dig that. The one we missed out on is like one of the things like I talked about earlier before you got on is like, and I'll say it again, man, like I love your stances on players. I love your stances on, you know, situations, good, bad, indifferent, random thoughts. Like you tweeted out a couple nights ago. You're like, what if Tua was actually fantasy relevant? And like
Yeah.
as fantasy managers, like
No, I
we
feel like, what if he's this year's Jacoby Brissett?
that's
Like,
what it was. Yeah.
It's possible.
Takes the job and just is like, yeah.
Yeah, like it's and like I think like as fantasy managers, right? Like we all have like these like random thoughts at like
Yeah.
2:30 on a Tuesday afternoon, like you know, when we're
Yeah.
sitting at our desk or like, you know, whatever, just like, oh, like, well, what if this
Those
is
are
like
a
what
lot
if
of
he
my tweets.
that's what I love about it. That's what I love about it. It was like you always say like what everybody is thinking, and you're like, oh, all right, like yeah, like what if it is? So Michelle Tootin, he's a guy that like went to Scott Fishbowl last weekend in Boston. It was great, had a great time. Ryan Heath from Fantasy Points was there. He actually, he took him. We were just kind of chopping it up on some things, and you know, I was like, he's a really interesting player to me because I pay attention to a player that is that's all over the draft board, right? Like people have like so many different takes on Tootin. Like you see one you see one tweet, and one tweet is like, why would you want this guy? Because like, hey, like his, you know, yards per contact was this right here. Then you see another tweet that says, you know, you'd want this guy because of the pass catching ability. For me, I look at it and I go, all right, well, here's this guy in Liam Cohen's offense in year 2, and Travis Etienne just, you know, abandoned all of these yardage, and Travis Etienne also could do some things in the passing game as well. And then the last thing for me with Tootin is like his explosiveness. Like we all know, like just in the NFL, we can't say speed kills because we've seen a lot of fast guys that couldn't do nothing with it. John Ross, you know, but Tootin in this offense, and I'm super high on the Jacksonville Jaguars this year. Give me, yeah, baby, yeah. Any chance I get to take a dig at the Cincinnati Bengals, baby, I'm taking it. Yeah, give us your take on Tootin and where you're at with him.
Yeah, I'm in on Tootin. You know, a lot of respected minds, like you mentioned, Ryan Heath in fantasy community, love Tootin coming out of the draft. You know, they love the metrics, and you know, he showed flashes. Tootin did as a rookie, just had his fumbling issues, and you know, often we see rookie running backs, you know, disappoint a little bit, and like the veteran gets more of the touches, and then in year 2 is when they start to take off. I think we could see that with Tootin. I mean, it's like I tweeted this the other day. So many of the fantasy community love Tootin. Now Etienne's gone. What? Now you don't want him? Like now is when it's clear.
Exactly.
Like I know they brought in Chris Rodriguez, and like Rodriguez was with Liam Cohen, where in Kentucky, or whatever college, Kentucky, whatever. But like we're talking about Chris Rodriguez, man. Chris Rodriguez, like. The first 3 years of his career, he did nothing. Like you're talking about Chris Rodriguez. That's all.
Say it again with your chest.
Man, like, it could, like you said, it could be a great offense. This Jaguars offense. We saw Liam Cohen with Bucky Irving. What Bucky did, I think Tootin has a lot of upside. Yeah, there's risk because Tootin's unproven, but it's that kind of swing for the fence I'm willing to take because I think Tootin's similar to Travion Henderson in that there's that boomer bust feel to taking him. But at least, you know, Tootin has to deal with Chris Rodriguez. Henderson's dealing with Ramondre. So there's more competition for Henderson, less for Tootin. Better, well, Jags are going to be a good offense, I think. I like the pick. And he could go like 5th round sometimes, Tootin. So I'm in.
Dig that.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement on Tootin. I think we're all in agreement on Tootin because I think it's just something where we like the Jacksonville offense. We talked about their weapons already. We talked about Trevor Lawrence and already someone being underrated already, just based on what he did previously. So I think just slotting Tootin in like right now as your back end like RB2s in that range, like late 4th, early 5th right now for Tootin, like makes a ton of sense to take a stab at that because again, there's the running backs obviously we know are getting pushed up the boards. So it just makes sense to at least take a stab at that potential upside. A guy that could potentially take all 3 downs away. Like, we're talking about Chris Rodriguez. We're not talking about anything crazy. We're talking about Quentin Allen. Like, come on. Let's be real about this here. You know, I think Tootin could have a 3-down role. So just very similar to Travis Etienne. And we're talking about paying an RB24 price, maybe again, maybe late fourth, early fifth round. So I think we're all in agreement on that. I think Tuin's worth taking a stab at that, especially if you're like doing a hero RB build and then Tuin just happens to still be there in your type of builds. Makes a ton of sense as your RB2 overall.
Yeah, and when we last saw Tudor in that game against the Bills in the playoffs, he was running all over the Bills in that first quarter. I think then he fumbled and then just got benched. Yeah. But that's something we've seen running backs address in their careers, like Tiki Barber as an example.
Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah, Stevenson as well. So if Tudor just addresses that issue, he's going to be probably 15, 17 touches a game in a good offense, and he's explosive. And one more thing, one shout. Coach Speak Index had a quote. Liam Cohen was really glowing about Tudor's explosiveness. So, I get it. He's that unproven name, but there's a lot to like here.
A lot of unproven names in past fantasy history, man, have ended up being very, very relevant, very, very big time players. No, I'll give you another one, man. You already know where I'm going, baby. You know my game. Shout out UT Arian Foster, baby. Let's go. You know what I mean? Let's go. Sweet. Yeah, but he wasn't touted as that. He wasn't touted as that. And then all of a sudden, the next thing you know, this man's getting carries. And the next thing you know, hey, he's going the 101 in fantasy drafts, man. Arian Foster King, man. You know what I mean? So we know also too, man, you're really big in the prop world too, man. You also do a lot of prop stuff as well. We got a few questions for you on that. So the first question I got for you is, what is the one future bet that you were smashing every single time that you see it?
So one thing I want to say is with these futures, I like to take long shot ones just because, obviously they get resolved at the end of the season. So I want a better, ROI on them. I'm not going to put a lot. I say 1 unit is my standard. You put 0.25 or something, because obviously they're more long shots, but that disclaimer in there. I mean, if there's a few we could think of, but I think, we talked about Jaden Daniels earlier on the show. And what about, I was looking at the MVP award. This leads to one of your questions. I don't know why my DraftKings app isn't loading, but Jaden Daniels, I believe, is 20-1 to win MVP. And if you really tell yourself the angle, everyone says his supporting cast isn't great outside McLaurin, and that's true. Can you imagine if the Commanders bounce back to what they were 2 years ago and Daniels is playing like he did as a rookie? He'd be in play to win the award because he'd be carrying that team like he was as a rookie. And I feel Daniels in his rookie year didn't really get attention or consideration to win MVP because they just are he's a rookie. They don't want to give it to the rookie, the MVP award. I don't think it's ever happened. So I'm looking for a quarterback, obviously, to win MVP, one that would have to carry the team. Josh Allen's already won it. Joe Burrow's an option, but his odds are a lot shorter. Justin Herbert's an option because, with McDaniel, Lamar is always in there, but he's near the top. So I want someone with long shot odds. Jordan Love is plus 1,800. I think Daniels is a better value than that because I like Jordan Love. And I think he's got untapped upside, but I think Daniels would have to really carry the Commanders' offense. So if they could bounce back, I think Daniels would be in play.
Okay. All right. So that's your future bet that you're smashing. Okay. What you guys? Were you gonna say something?
No. I was gonna say the when it comes to futures, who's the division winner that you could probably get some value to right now when it comes to before the season starts, because I think that is also somewhat we could figure out at least division winners, who's potentially going to come out a certain division. Then the rest of the puzzle becomes a little bit more easier. For instance, that AFC South is something that just ringing up you're getting plus money on whoever you take. For me, I Jacksonville plus 245 makes a ton of sense there. But that would be mine. What would you say in terms of the betting market for division winners right now?
Okay, so looking at it now, I got it here. I think the Broncos are a bit undervalued at plus 225. They're third behind the Chargers, who are plus 190, Chiefs plus
Yep.
160. Broncos, like coming into the draft, I'd be listening to like Daniel Jeremiah talk, and he's like, they don't have any needs. They're so stacked on each side of the ball. And then they bring in Jalen Waddle. So they have a great roster, the Broncos do. That looks like a value to me, especially with, Mahomes coming off the torn ACL, Chargers still unproven. Every year we love the Chargers. And I know I love that.
I'm starting to fall
but I'm a sucker for him. I'm a sucker for him too. They always have some badass running back, man, and the receivers are always sick. And you look at defense and you're like, they're sexy. They're sexy, man.
Yeah, so
get hurt one by one.
I do like them. I just think considering what the Broncos have, and they have a lot of, I saw Greg Rosenthal of NFL just tweet this. They have I think what the tweet was basically their O-line and a lot of their defense is played together for 4 years. So that existing rapport and chemistry is helpful. And it looks like betting markets are undervaluing the Broncos now. If I have to pick one more, I think the Cowboys are going to be a lot better this year. They had picks. They bring in Caleb Downs and Malachi Lawrence really help out that defense. And then a full year of Quinnen Williams. So that defense could be a lot better.
You're a Commanders fan, right?
I know. Hey, I'm not biased. So I think the Cowboys are going to be much improved. But in terms of most undervalued, I still would go Broncos.
All right. So last one, man, with this right here before we get into some different stuff. Who wins it all, man? Who's your Super Bowl winner?
Okay, so if I have to just pick a winner, I would say the Rams, just because they were so close last year, and they bring in Myles Garrett and Aaron Donald, who's going to probably come out of retirement. That is a crazy story. What a crazy team. But if I want to pick in a bet who's going to win the Super, I don't want to take the top favorites. Rams are plus 500, which is way more than second place Bills plus 1,000. So the Rams are very heavily favored right now. Broncos are a good bet because, like I said, they're undervalued. If I have to pick another one, Texans. That defense is crazy. Yep. What if CJ Stroud, he came into OTAs in super good shape. He probably hears all the criticism, all the noise. He feels he let his team down, all those picks against the Packers. He did. But he's probably doing it I gotta wake up. I gotta lock in. And he did it once as a rookie. He was great. He could do it again. What if he's effective again? A full year with. Remember, Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel at the beginning of last year, they were playing they weren't playing them much. Now they're integrating the offense. Tate Dell is back. They brought in David Montgomery. They improved the O-line a bit. I think the Texans' offense will improve, and I think C.J. Stroud with a chip on his shoulder could have a much better season. And they look like a scary team if that happens because that defense is monstrous.
Yeah, I'm even gonna go backwards because I forgot to even highlight this when we were talking about the Brock Bowers, Ashton Genty thing. Actually, that was actually one of Ashton Genty's best games was actually against the Texans.
Crazy.
And so if we kind of put that into perspective, and again, I was somebody, and I'm still somebody that's a little bit apprehensive about Genty for sure. But I think I'm opening my eyes a little bit. About him, just from that space, right? If he was able to do that against the Texans, the league's best defense, and I don't think it's even up for discussion if they are. I think definitely, the sky's the limit for him for sure. So, yeah. All right, so we got probably about 5 more minutes with you, man. So. We're gonna rip off, man, some rapid fire questions here. I'm gonna go, Nick's gonna go. We're gonna try to rip these off as quick as we possibly can for you here. Some of these are gonna be about sports, some of them will be about pop culture, some of them just might be about random stuff. So you ready, man?
Here we go.
All right, so I'm gonna start. I call this one 4th and 20. Give me your spiciest take, your hottest take of what's gonna happen during the NFL season. Any take, give it to me.
Oof. Okay, let's just get really spicy here. We're going to get really spicy. Fernando Mendoza balls out throughout preseason. Becomes the starter in week 3. Absolutely cooks. And the Raiders squeak in as a wild card.
Woo! All right. Woo! Caliente, baby. Caliente. All right, go ahead, Nick. Go ahead, man.
Position you play in the league.
Oh, position out. Oh, sorry. I thought you were gonna give a response to my bad. I lost track of the segment.
Nope.
The
It's okay.
position I would play in the league, I think maybe receiver because I'm kind of lanky with long arms, so maybe I could be get that red zone threat.
Okay. Who would you call a fantasy sellout going into this season?
So you wait. So you mean what do you mean exactly by sellout?
A fantasy sellout, somebody that we think is going to be good, and it's not going to happen. Like who's the one player that basically no go for you?
Well, I think I know what he's going to say.
DJ Moore, just because people are hyped to see. People are hyped to see DJ Moore as Josh Allen's new receiver one. I think this is Amari Cooper 2.0 when Cooper was traded to the Bills. I think DJ Moore is really on the decline. And, I don't think he's worth the pick where he goes 5th round. Coming into last year, Moore was quickly surpassed by Rome Odunze. And remember, Odunze didn't do much as a rookie. It's not like he was this proven guy. So and Ben Johnson was using him more as a supporting piece, not as the alpha dog. I don't think Moore is that anymore. And I tweeted this earlier the offseason. I think the basics of the tweet was the last 5 years, DJ Moore has only finished better than receiver 27 in points per game once. So it's not like he's been consistently producing more. So I think, and the Bills offense, I know this rapid fire went too long, but they like to spread it around. They like to run the ball. I think that'll continue to be the case.
All right. Go ahead, Nick.
Fantasy MVP.
Fantasy MVP, I'm going to go Brock Bowers because I think he is going to maybe have a record-setting season for the tight end position. I think Bowers will do better than McBride did last year, which was a crazy year. And I think the Raiders are going to have a much improved offense.
Brock Bowers. All right. You mentioned traveling. Early on. What was your favorite place that you ever traveled to?
That's a great question, and no recency bias here. It was the latest trip. It was Japan. I loved it there. The food was amazing. You go on the train. It's so clean and so organized, and it's I loved it. It was just awesome. And I love their food as it is, but even if you're in Tokyo, they have great other foods too. It's a great food city. I love Japan. Obviously, I can't be biased. I'm Italian. I can't say Italy. I love Italy, but I'm being honest. Japan's my favorite place I've been to.
All right. Good.
Favorite reality show.
Favorite reality show. I'm not really a big reality show guy. I'm trying to think which one when I was way younger, I did like The Apprentice when it was on. Sometimes Love Island is entertaining. I watched it here and there. I'm not a huge reality show guy. Jersey Shore I watched. It's so stupid. When everyone was into that, I watched.
Oh, man. All right. So one for me. Your favorite TV series?
Oh, that's a good one. I've liked Game of Thrones, but I didn't like the end of it. They butchered it at the end. My favorite pick would have to be The Sopranos because I love The Wire too.
I would say
Breaking Bad, but I feel like The Sopranos is more easily rewatchable because they have all these funny moments in it. It makes you so many things make you laugh in that show. And I relate a little bit to it. Obviously, I'm not saying I know that stuff, but they do things eating you see all the Italian food and they have similarities the way they act with people I've grown up around. So The Sopranos.
I was giving you my Polly Walnuts right there is what I was doing. Listen, Tone. Oh, man. Well, man, obviously, we obviously want to be super respectful of your time, man, for sure. I know you got, the Beat Frank tonight. If you want to give one more plug for that, man, before you hop off of here, that'd be super dope. But before you do that, much appreciation to you, man. Much thanks, man. Again, big fan of your work, for sure. So yeah, man, go ahead and make one more plug, man, and go ahead and bounce on us, man.
Yeah, so you could find all my work across several sites on Twitter that's listed in my bio, like Action Network, Rotoballer, Fantasy Pro, so on. I like to keep my plate full. I love making content and talking sports all the time. So if you want to see it, you find it there. If you want to see my Beat Frank Ammirante draft on the NFFC, it's a high stakes league. Top prize is 150K, I think, but that's hard to win. That's overall really hard. Hopefully, you could win it. I won the 12-team league that I did of this last year. Hopefully, I do it again. Hopefully, I get Brock Bowers, and it's been a pleasure joining you guys. A long time coming. I got to come on again soon if you'll have me, of course.
Of course.
Love talking to you guys. Keep crushing it.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it. Much love, man, and good luck to you tonight, brother.
All right. Take care, guys.
Sir.
All right. All right, man. So last weekend we had Scott Fish Bowl down in Boston. So that was definitely a good time for sure. If you want to, man, you could just go ahead and bounce. Me and Nick, we're gonna go.
Oh,
ahead and
keep going.
We're gonna keep going. Yeah.
I was being respectful enough.
I appreciate it, bro. Yeah, you say if you want to, man. You can say if you want to.
All right, later for you.
All right, bro.
Right.
Yeah, so we had Scott Fish Bowl down in Boston last week, so definitely a good time. Obviously, Nick's got the Expo coming up this week where he'll be in the Fans Classic, which I just started the Fans Qualifier.
Let's go.
Yeah, man, may your team be not as injury prone as mine and stay away from Caleb Johnson for sure.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Talk about us getting burned on that one.
Ooh, man, between really like the worst thing that happened in that one was Omarion Hampton getting hurt and Caleb. 14-team league, just for context, so you guys know what's going on with 14-team league. Some of the sharpest cats you can imagine in this league as well. So that also doesn't help when you're going to get some of the sharpest minds out there for sure. But Scott Fish Bowl, man, I'll bring up my team here. We talked about a little bit. Yeah.
You gotta tell the people what you're cooking with.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was fun, dude. It was definitely a good time for sure. I had a great time. There. I'm trying to figure out how I can move this board down. I always hate this whenever I'm trying to
time. In the meantime, guys, look, Fantasy Football Expo coming this weekend. If you ain't there, bro, you must be definitely tripping. Johnny.
I'm tripping.
I'm gonna miss Johnny there because it's not gonna feel like the same without you there, by the way.
Yeah.
So, but me and the rest of my fantasy football home people, I'm saying, gonna be there. So we got surprise galore upcoming. So the fantasy football, footballers gonna be there. That's gonna be crazy. We got Joe Pacello from formerly of Fantasy Pros is gonna be there. It's gonna be a wild time. So definitely gonna be bringing some juice and sauce back for me. So that definitely being said, we about to be locked in for the fantasy football season if we ain't already. But as Johnny was saying, look, we got the board here. Johnny's team is 101 all the way on the left. So Johnny, man, kudos to you, bro. You drafted a smacking team. You was not leaving any crumbs for nobody on the board.
Yeah,
so take us through your process, brother.
Yeah, Jamar Chase or Puka, like I said, that was my intention the entire. Yeah, that was my intention the entire time, and as you can see, my master plan almost came to fruition. But then, E-Rock here. I had to go and ruin it and take Joe Burrow. So I got really excited here, coming back at 2-8. When I see Matt Stafford go off the board, I was like, oh my God. I was like, everything could actually come into place. And then my guy, Ben Grant, let's show some love for him, who actually rode down with him to the Scott Fish Bowl, one of my buddies here in Maine. And I knew that he was going to take Omarion Hampton. I knew it. I knew he was going to. He had sent me a picture earlier in the week of a card of Omarion Hampton that he was going to get graded, and I was like, Yeah, Omarion
Damn.
Hampton ain't making it back
All
to
right.
me. But I was optimistic about Joe Burrow. So obviously that didn't happen. So when that didn't happen, I was like, all right, Colston Loveland is definitely he's in play for me for sure. I think everybody knows my affinity with Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears. So Colston Loveland did that, and then my actual plan was hopefully to do like a complete Cincinnati Bengals onslaught. Take Chase, take Burrow, take Chase Brown, Jamar Chase, and Joe Burrow. Ooh, looks like we just got a pick. Jalen McMillan. That kind of sucks.
Nice.
I was hoping for him.
We got it live.
Oh,
I
was hoping for him to come back to me with Baker. Yeah. But because I think like he's somebody that's definitely a forgotten piece for sure. But so Chase Brown, and then obviously coming back, I was really I was thinking about Ladd McConkey. He was somebody that like I was thinking about. Obviously the receivers here, like you see at this point going this way, you had McMillan, Waddle, Rice, Garrett Wilson, Luther Burden, Ladd McConkey. I was really hoping Mahomes would slide back to me because I was like, oh, well, that would be cool if I can. And that didn't happen. And then the guy that took Bo Nix was also the same guy that took Joe Burrow. So I said, you know what? You're not walking out of here with Bo Nix and Jalen Waddle, champ. So like that ain't happening. Right. So took Jalen Waddle, Rashee Rice. So at this point, I feel pretty good because I have my first 5 picks: Rashee Rice, number one option in Kansas City; Jalen Waddle, obviously big play potential based off the Scott Fishbowl format; Chase Brown, one of the best pass catching backs in the NFL; Colston Loveland could very easily be the tight end one this season in the NFL. We all know what Jamar Chase is. And so, ironically enough, we spent a lot of time last week on our show with Jim Coventry talking about Kyler Murray, and then we ended up talking about Baker Mayfield as well. Ironically enough, and at this point, like there literally was like I could have taken Cam Ward.
You picked him at the right time too.
Yeah, but it's taking Baker and Kyler like really like at the right time. So I was really excited about that. So I was like, all right, that's cool. And then obviously we moved down. Comes back. Took Parker Washington at this point. The only other player that I really considered Jordan Tyson. He was a guy that I was really considering over Parker Washington in this space. But I just took Parker Washington because, like I said, like I really believe in the Jacksonville Jaguars this year. I really like their offense. And if I can't have Trevor Myers, he went, where did he go?
I'm just curious.
He went
he went later.
He definitely went. Yeah, he definitely went. Yeah, he definitely went later.
I feel like all those Jacksonville receivers are in a vacuum, so it's like kind of. It's just funny how Brian Thomas went 6.5. You took him 8.12, and then Myers went 10.10. So
yeah, like this, like our board was crazy. Like every board was crazy, but this was really crazy. There was a board. Carlton got. Who did he get at? He got. Geez, man, I took a picture of it. God, he got a running back at 1.8.
Devontae Williams, 8.6.
No, it wasn't in this league right here.
Oh, it wasn't here.
Who did he get? Oh, he got Bijan at 1.8 in his league.
Crazy. What?
Yeah, he got Bijan at 1.8, and then he turns around, and gets Ashton Genty in the second round, coming back on the turn. Or I felt it was either on the turn at 2 or either on the turn at 3. But either way, like every board was like so like all over the place, man.
That's wild.
But yeah, so then like I got TJ Hawkinson, which TJ Hawkinson is somebody that I think 2 years coming off the injury, like better quarterback play, gives me a little bit of a stack option with Kyler. So I had to jump on that. Then I took RJ Harvey at 10-12. Mostly just because of like the pass catching ability, and again, the Broncos offensive we were talking about over the last couple of weeks, like in on that offense. I took Jonathan Brooks ahead of a couple of guys. Jordan Addison was really the best play here, but like I was like, if I take Jordan Addison, man, now I've got Kyler, TJ, Jordan Addison, and I was like, I can probably get Jawan Jennings coming back. And as you can see my roster, I was able to get him back. But Jonathan Brooks is just a wild card. Oh, we're getting live action here. Kate Otten.
Waiting for the fences.
Yeah. And especially in a format like this, I was like, Chuba Hubbard was somebody that like during the offseason. Yeah. I like crazy stuff, man. He actually didn't even have one 100-yard game last year.
That's crazy, yo. Yeah, he
Yeah.
didn't.
And like we can talk about like the injury and things like that right there, but also too Rico Dowdle abandoning, all those carries in that yardage. So like Jonathan Brooks, I was listening to D, bro. Everything I end up doing, man, is like me like outside working on my yard, apparently is what my life is consisted of. But just hearing like some of the things like that he was talking about with Jonathan Brooks as far as like explosive run rate, break tackle rate in college, like all of the metrics that matter for running backs, that was Jonathan Brooks in college. And even if Jonathan Brooks, obviously we know the injuries that he's had, but like Chuba Hubbard, like he
still worth it.
Like, yeah, like especially in this format. So I took a swing with him, came back around. Matthew Golden was still on the board. Talked a lot about second and third year wide receivers. Matthew Golden is somebody, when you look at the Green Bay offense, obviously there's a lot of mouths to feed, but again, like in this format where really it rewards you for big plays, Matthew Golden is somebody that going into year 2, like he can be a little bit better. Romeo Dobbs, obviously.
Competition's like cleared out though. Dobbs is in New England now. You know what I'm saying? You're topping on Wicks is out in Philly. So we're really talking about 3 wide receiver sets with Golden potentially in them. So a chance to be wide receiver 2 in 2 wide receiver sets out. So there's definitely the possibility of Matthew Golden like potentially breaking out and being 2 wide receiver sets over Jaden Reed. It's definitely possible.
Yeah, I was really hoping to get Kenny Gainwell. That's what I was really hoping for, man. I was really hoping for that. Like Brooks and Gainwell, like I just didn't know where Jonathan Brooks was going to be. Like he's a wild card in every draft, right? Like that was the biggest thing. And the only other players that I looked at that I could have been like, all right, like I would have taken over would have been Kenny Gainwell and maybe even Tony Pollard. I would have considered just because Tony Pollard will get a lot of the work. And then obviously I go back to the well with my guy, Juwan Jennings. Shout out UT for sure. So I've got a couple players queued up here. There's still some value, still some really good value left out here when you look at the Scott Fishbowl format as far as scoring goes. So I feel pretty good about where my team is at right now and what's going on. So, yeah, like it was fun, man. I had a great time for sure. It was definitely good, man, to see like a lot of like, familiar faces like from the Boston area. You'll appreciate this. Probably at least 2 different times I got called Nick, and I was like, nope, wrong guy.
Hey, yo.
Yeah, but it was cool, man. And so I thought that was
gonna happen to me this week.
Yeah,
too,
yeah. Oh, yes, it's definitely going to. Definitely gonna happen.
Like, Johnny, no.
Yeah. They're like, oh, well, not necessarily. One guy called me Nick. One guy called me. One guy called me Nick, and then the other guy was like, oh, like you're the guy from Connecticut. I was like, no, I'm the guy from Maine. But yeah, definitely big fun, definitely good time for sure. And now like just in the space of like doing stuff like Battle of the Sexes, doing some drafts with my daughters in that space. So that's actually been pretty funny. Anaya, collecting cards, and she is very familiar with players. We pulled a Garrett Wilson kaboom, and so she's all about Garrett Wilson. So she went Garrett Wilson in the 3rd round. She went Garrett Wilson in the 3rd round. I was like, do your thing, girl.
That's some value right there.
I think like he's a forgotten man. I think he's a guy that like I think we all forgot like really how good he is at football in real life, and especially now like you got a competent quarterback in Geno. So I think that's another discussion for another day. But like I was excited about that. So we got that going on. Obviously got the Scott Fishbowl team going on, and then actually I started the Fans Classic qualifier today. Had the 5 pick, went standard. Went standard as usual, as you would imagine. Puka was off the board, Chase, Bijan, and Gibbs. I was thinking about James Cook or JSN, and I went JSN. I just went JSN because it's just like, you know what, like last year I did not have a wide receiver in that space, and 14 picks. Everybody thinks it's cool, but 14 picks is a long.
I got pick 13, so yeah.
That's where I'm pretty sure.
I got a game plan. I'm ready.
12 or 13. Yeah, like and it's like
those. I'm gonna get something else back, so we good.
Those drafts are very similar to like Scott Fish Bowls because they're all over the place. Like they're all over the place, but like those extra 2 roster spots, man, like.
Sorry, we picking 13. So I mean, I already got the game plan in the head. You know what I'm saying? I already know what's about to happen. I'm about to crush at the back of the draft, and I'm about to take advantage of all the value, and we're gonna be great. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna put on for us, bro. I'm telling you, I'm gonna put on.
Oh, listen.
Get this shit home. We good.
And listen, nothing but good vibes, man. Nothing but good vibes for you for sure. Going out that way, man, for sure. So. Yeah. So obviously you're heading out to the expo. So you'll be out there this week. So actually I don't even know, like what day are you actually getting back?
Monday, like afternoonish.
Okay. All right. So all right, cool. So we got we still have a couple more shows, obviously. Wednesdays seem to be the days for us, man, to be able to get these heavy hitters on here for sure. Coventry, Frank, we got more to come. More to come in that space. I think it's been dope just to hear like perspective. Like, it's the hot and cold for DJ Moore. The Rams as the undisputed Super Bowl champs. I think it's been a couple of pretty good takes.
Paper champs right now. Paper champs.
Hey man, listen, everybody is, man. Everybody is until that second week in September, man. When stuff gets real. So we got that. Then we got the homie Fizzle Dollars coming on. Fizzle Dollars, man, all about the dynasty. Dynasty life. Dallas Cowboy fan. Can't wait to have him on here, man. One of the homies we met at the expo a couple years ago for sure. Been waiting to get him on here as well. So he'll be on for Sunday. So we still got the part 2 of the verses for everybody. So we'll get that cooking. And obviously as things start to kind of progress, man, we'll start to line up for you like our division winners, our fantasy MVPs, players that like we don't want to leave without all the good. Man, we were getting a lot of action in the Scott. AJ Barner just went. Yeah, man, we're getting a lot of action. A lot of action in the Scott Fish Bowl draft here tonight, man. I love it. I love to keep it moving like this. So we got a lot of other things, man, coming for sure. Man, another pick just happened. If I'm gonna text Ben and just tell him like, just make the pick, man, so we can maybe make this pick on air. Yeah, we can maybe make this pick on air, man.
Before we get out of here.
We can. Yeah. I would say who I'm going to take, but Ben might snipe me on it. So
don't put that.
Let's see here. No, it's all good, man. There's a lot of really good options I got right here, so I'm cool with however this plays. Either way, so I got a lot of options here. Yeah, man, that's pretty much what I got, brother. I don't have too much more going on, man. For sure.
That's a great way to finish it out, my guy. Because look, we got a lot more to come. Like we said, we got some special guests coming our way, and we're about to drop all our knowledge. So you know what I'm saying? Y'all follow us on the Twitter. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, we everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Johnny and I are putting you guys on the map. You know what I'm saying? So we out here, and we're gonna have more people on for sure, and we're gonna break it down like we always do. The DDF Show LLC on X. Make sure you follow us on YouTube as well. Make sure you guys are following us over on TikToks as well. I got more behind. I'm a little behind, but it's all good. About to catch up. But we about to get out of here, So for Dottie, for myself, we out here. We'll see you in the next show. Peace.